Welcome to Financials with Ahawo. It's a joy to continue our conversation today in our Making Wealth series. We pick up from the ideas conversation as we build up on what it means to have an idea and to just grow it. And today what came to mind is talking through an idea as a seed. When I thought through the whole process of how farming happens, at least what I think happens, I am not a farmer yet. The thought process usually is a farmer would envision to have a harvest of maize, and then they would go through the planning process and understand the seasons of when they should plant, when they should prepare the ground, when they should water, when they should weed, when they should add things to strengthen the soil, or just what would go into it step by step until the end, they get the end result. And we've been talking around this, and I'm just using a different example, maybe to get us to see it in a different light. And when we think of a world of ideas, I easily relate it to sowing a seed. Because first things first is there has to be an aspect of what's going to have to start us off, and that's the seed. And what happens with the seed is it will go into a place of us anticipating or waiting as it's experiencing, the elements in the soil, as it's budding. If it's a taproot, it's becoming a taproot. If it's the other root, was it fibrous? It's becoming a fibrous root. It's really taking shape in a very hidden place. That's what has come up for me today. That in the place of ideas, is going to be a place where for the idea to come to fruition, it's going to be hidden for a time, but it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. It doesn't mean that there's no intentionality in what has been done in terms of putting the seed in the ground, but it just means that the seed has to go this process of being birthed in a hidden nature. And if also we look at it in terms of even how life comes forth, like human life, the child is hidden in a sense. You just see a protrusion in terms of the mother growing, but the child is hidden until such a time as now the child comes forth. And that's the thing that I would like us to reflect on our ideas. Sometimes we have these ideas in terms of what we want to do with our finances, whether it's to start a project, to start to save, to start to invest, to become more intentional with how we record our expenses, to become clearer in terms of why we are making certain financial decisions. And they can look like a very hidden and almost inactive state. But it is during this time, like a seed, it has been sowed and it is going through that place of hiding and things happening that are so core to what it's going to come into. And that's why many times you find some forms of farming even require for seeds to go into a seedling garden, meaning they need to be very guarded. They need to be given a certain level of care so that then when they are ready to deal with the elements that they will find in nature, they can now proceed to the natural environment where they are going to grow. And that's going to be the same thing with our ideas. For us to understand that as we plant the idea in terms of start it off, in terms of talk about it, in terms of plan for it, it's going to be hidden. It's going to be under sowing. It's going to be, under that process of literally almost no one knows what's happening, but it's going to still be having something that's going on, that's preparing it for the next level. And many times we're told the quality of the seed will determine the quality of the crop that it produces. So even in the season of allowing the ideas to become a seed, the idea has to be refined so that its quality allows for the outcome to be very much what we have desired. And I take us back to scripture a bit. As we look through the life of Christ, he often used a farmer's example. Maybe that's why it comes to mind today, to describe what happens as we are building. A farmer did this and then it happened. A farmer did this and then the other thing happened. And that's the same thing I'd call us to look at the fact that We are being modeled, and our ideas are in creation. And as that happens, there's a place of learning to trust. There's a place of being still and allowing God to model our finances into what He wants it to be, that will generate an outcome that brings Him honor and at the same time sets us up to what we should be. It's a very key place for our minds to continue to interact with that, even as we practice what we had talked about in the previous discussion set about our mindset. The mindset that sees our ideas and allows our ideas to go through the process of seed sowing so that then they can be prepared for the next level of growth that will come from it. I encourage you, as usual, keep writing everything that's happening as you're doing on your idea, everything that seems so hidden yet is so key. Keep writing, keep looking at the progress you're making as you continue to achieve the financial objectives that you have set out to. Again, I say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. It's been a joy speaking to you. I'll talk to you soon again. It's Ahawo.